DocTalk is brought to you by Merck Animal Health. By integrating the comprehensive animal health product portfolio of Merck Animal Health with the innovative technologies of All-Flex Livestock Intelligence, we are shaping the future of animal health, resulting in more effective solutions and healthier animals.
Hey folks, welcome to DocTalk. It's going to be a great show. We have a friend and colleague, Dr. Lance Baumgard at Iowa State University. He's going to join us today, and we're going to talk about things that go on in the gut, from gut health to lung health and how that impacts the body, things that cause that, and so much more. It's going to be a great show right here from Ames, Iowa. Thanks for joining us.
At Merck Animal Health, we wake up each day seeking new innovations to keep your herd healthy. This is why we're proud to now include All-Flex Livestock Intelligence in our portfolio of solutions. With All-Flex, we can provide the tools to identify, monitor, and trace each animal within a herd. Its state-of-the-art offerings deliver real-time insights to help you optimize productivity. Merck Animal Health and All-Flex Livestock Intelligence. For our animals, our industry, and our future.
Hey folks, welcome to the show, and I want to welcome our guest, Dr. Lance Baumgard. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Dr. Dan.
It's great to have you here. If you haven't seen or haven't heard Dr. Baumgard speak, you should. One of the jewels of our profession and understanding dairy cows to swine to beef cattle. He is the Jacobson Professor in Animal Science here at Iowa State University in the Department of Animal Science, and just glad to get you in one spot. This guy is running everywhere, so helping the industry. So today we're going to talk a little bit about something that you have a passion and some research interest in.
Yeah, we've been focused on the gut now for about the last 10 or 15 years, gut health in general.
Yeah, and so when we start to talk about gut health, until I started talking to you and visiting about it, understanding that, that feeling you get in your gut is actually for real.
Yeah, the butterflies or the knots in your tummy.
Yeah.
That's your nervous system connecting with your immune system, and that's what we feel when we get nervous, right? A big soccer day or big exams or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's just from stress, and these different types of stress can then kickstart some sort of pathology in the gut, right?
No doubt. So I think what we're learning of now is that almost all stressors, the common denominator behind them all is this gut barrier dysfunction. And so that transcends like heat to cold, to transport, to weaning. Many on-farm stressors have a very common and almost identical footprint. I don't think that's a coincidence.
Yeah. So talk me through a little bit about what's going on in that gut when stress hits.
So as rumen nutritionists, we're almost always thinking of the rumen and rumen health, pH primarily. But now we're starting to realize that the small and large intestine play a big role in overall animal health. So when an animal becomes stressed, there's activation of the actually enteral nervous system. There's more neurons in your gut than there is the head. And there's a communication between very specific immune cells, called mast cell, and the gut barrier function. Okay. So when the animal gets stressed, whether or not it's, like I said, weaning or heat or cold, there's a communication that causes the barrier function of the gut to be compromised.
So then if the barrier is compromised, that allows things we don't want to get through.
Exactly right. A huge percentage of what's inside the gut we do not want getting through the barrier of the intestines. So obviously you want the nutrients in the water, vitamins and minerals, and etc. But a vast majority of what's inside the lumen of the gut, the animal does not want to infiltrate through the barrier of the gut.
Yep.
Antigens, pathogens, toxins, enzymes, etc.
What are some of the more common, if you're going to say, pathogens or things that would get through that gut barrier after stress?
Well, even commensal bacteria and their products, if they get through that barrier, there's going to be an immune response. So with regards to what's most negative or potentially dangerous, essentially everything. Yeah. If it's an antigen and it gets through, it's going to stimulate the immune response.
Yeah, and so as we stimulate the immune response, obviously that plays an impact on, and even those antigens or those pathogens, whether it's a bacteria or virus or whatever, could go to other parts of the body. Yeah,
no doubt, right? If it gets through the barrier of the gut and goes via the portal system to the liver, and if it then escapes to the liver, now the animal starts experiencing oftentimes what's called sepsis or endotoxemia or bacteremia. Yeah. So which obviously has a lot of negative consequences.
And then we're going to see things in the lungs and things in the joints and different things like that. Well, Dr. Baumgard's got us kick-started. When we come back, we're going to talk about some of the things that can cause leaky gut. You're watching DocTalk. We're sure glad you joined us.
At Daniels Manufacturing, we know that you're not always going to be able to work cattle in a permanent facility. That's why we have designed portable equipment built with the same quality and innovation as our stationary equipment. Our portable equipment can be set up with stationary corrals, or just pull the pins and move to a new location. And setting up our portable double alleyways and our all-hydraulic portable chute is quick and easy. Keep yourself and your cattle safer with less stress working in the field with our portable equipment. For more information or to find your perfect portable solution, contact Daniels Manufacturing Company today.
Nasalgen 3 is a new 3-way intranasal BRD vaccine that offers young calves unrivaled protection against devastating respiratory diseases, including IBR, BRSV, and PI3. And it has a unique blue shadow, so there's no second guessing which animals have been vaccinated. To up your protection, choose new Nasalgen 3 PMH, the first and only 5-way intranasal vaccine on the market. Talk to your veterinarian and visit nasalgen.com to learn more.
ValleyVet.com is your one-stop shop for your every animal need, from prescription meds, vaccines, equipment, and more for the ranch to the show ring. Shop ValleyVet.com for fast shipping and great prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Hey folks, welcome back to DocTalk. Dr. Dan Thompson here with Dr. Lance Baumgard, and we work and teach at Iowa State University in the Department of Animal Science, where Dr. Baumgard serves as the Jacobson Professor and is a full professor here within our department. Teaches classes, does research. You have a lot of undergrads and graduate students in your research portfolio.
Yeah, we're keeping busy. I think that's a very important part of our job, is to train undergraduates and graduate students.
Yep. So if you have an interest in ruminant nutrition, ruminant metabolism, physiology, this is the guy. When we start to talk about leaky gut, or that setting up of that immune system, which I think so many people have discounted this, whether we're talking about calves in a feed yard or pigs in a finished barn or dairy calves or heifer development, talk to me about some of the more common things that you're seeing that have caused this issue in different species.
Well, we first started to become interested in gut barrier dysfunction with regards to heat stress. So we've been studying heat stress now for about 25 years, my group and I, and have kind of whittled our way down to the gut as being the epicenter of all the negative consequences of heat stress. Once we got there, we started to recognize that there's a variety of stressors where the biological consequences and endocrine footprint are almost identical to that of heat. For example, out-of-feed events, weaning, shipping, essentially, in fact, even cold stress causes the same negative consequences. Ultimately, what happens is you have an infiltration of antigens, activation of the immune system, and then once the immune system becomes activated, it now has a very large priority, arguably even more important than the central nervous system. So it's going to get the nutrients it needs.
Yep.
And as a consequence, the synthesis of skeletal muscle, or the making of milk, or the making of a fetus, whatever productive, economically important trait we are interested in, becomes de-emphasized. The immune system becomes activated because of the gut barrier dysfunction. The immune system requires its nutrients. And Oh, and this happens simultaneously as the animal goes off feed. Right? Immune activation is associated with hypophagia, reduced feed intake. So now you have reduced nutrient consumption, and the immune system has this enormous nutrient requirement of amino acids and glucose in particular.
Yep.
And as a consequence, the effects of heat stress, for example, from a pathophysiology perspective, are almost identical to that of any other type of bacterial infection.
I'll be damned. So when we start to think about this impact, and I had never thought about the animals that go off feed.
Yeah.
And now with the immune system, but what's weird is we don't think of animals in the summertime getting sick, right? Because we haven't really thought about this leaky gut, pathogens pouring into the bloodstream, and now the hierarchy of the immune system.
Yep, exactly. When animals die from heat stress, which is oftentimes occurs in the early part of the spring, they'll essentially die from septicemia-induced multiple organ failure. Yeah,
and when we start to see some of these things, you couple that with inhalation of LPS and dust and different things to that nature, dander. Combine it with heat stress, it's probably causing even more of an immune response.
Exactly. So now you have this intense immune activation going on in the gut and the lung, and then the consequences of both of these, with regards to feed intake and productivity.
Cool. Well, when we come back, we're going to talk about then some of the clinical signs of what we'll see with these animals and things that, that it's going to cause. You're watching DocTalk with Dr. Lance Baumgard. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned.
The Alertus on-farm pregnancy test for us has been unbelievable time saver because we can do it whenever we want. My favorite part about Alertus on-farm, we can get results fast. In 20 minutes, whether that cow goes to pasture A, B, or C. It's just very efficient. It's going to make you a lot of money. You're not going to have open cows standing there all winter looking at you, and you can do it on your time.
Relationships are the foundation of agriculture. Proud of the relationships that we built within the department and the industry. These are the people that make our worlds go around on a day-to-day basis, and they're the foundation of everything that we do. All of those relationships are built on trust and respect. We involve our students in the relationship building process by allowing them the opportunity to meet with industry leaders and professionals. We're the Iowa State University Beef Teaching Farm, and we're grateful to be part of an industry that's built on relationships.
They're here, they're hungry, and they can't be stopped with ivermectin. Choose Safeguard when you deworm your cattle to take out resistant parasites like brown stomach worm, Cooperia, Nematodirus, and others. With Safeguard's efficacy, you can kill more resistant worms in your cattle, so you don't leave potential on the table. Consult your veterinarian for the diagnosis and treatment of parasitism, then bite back at safeguardworks.com.
ValleyVet.com is your one-stop shop for your every animal need, from prescription meds, vaccines, equipment, and more for the ranch to the show ring. Shop ValleyVet.com for fast shipping and great prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Hey folks, welcome back to DocTalk. Dr. Dan Thompson here with my friend and colleague, Dr. Lance Baumgard. We teach at Iowa State University's Department of Animal Science, where Dr. Baumgard is a full professor serving as the Jacobson Professor in ruminant nutrition. Yeah, here at Iowa State. And I thought one of the cool things was that last year your paper was the most referenced paper in the Journal of Dairy Science.
Yeah, people do read it, I guess.
It's unbelievable, folks. So when to get him to sit down and spare some minutes with us is a rare but precious jewel that we're going to take advantage of. So talk to me a little bit about some of the things that we're going to see, you know, in my dairy, in my feedlot, in my hog operation. What are some things I'm watching for?
Yeah, so gut-barrier dysfunction is not easily diagnosed. That's part of the problem here, right? Oftentimes they'll be dead, and then you're like, oh, we have a problem. But some things that are recognized are, of course, off-feed. The off-feed is associated with immune activation. Maybe some diarrhea, some mucin cast. You know, in the dairy industry, nutritionists are constantly walking pens and kicking through patties, kicking through feces and looking for mucin cast.
Yeah, and so, you know, we often associate that just with weather, and obviously weather and different things can have an effect on intake, which then the cattle charge the bunk and we get acidosis and, you know, all that stuff. But I think rarely do we sit there and say, okay, something caused stress that's, you know, when people get nervous or get stressed, they don't eat.
Yeah.
Your gut hurts.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I think there's a variety of negative consequences associated with that stress. And if producers are paying close attention, they'll see it in variable feed intake, consistency of manure.
And so when we see the drops in intakes, and we'll see those occasionally, like a pen give feedback to us, or and we'll see that with the diarrhea, right? So that could be heat stress, or that could be an acidotic episode, but either one of those causes of the stress in the gut is what's going to give feedback to us. And then if we start to see that acidosis or diarrheas, we're probably thinking some sort of insult, pH.
Something's gone wrong, right? Yeah. Whether or not it's acidosis or some other product that's occurring during acidosis, I think we're still not sure what's going on there. But yeah, somewhere there's an insult, whether or not it's occurring at the rumen or in the small and large intestine simultaneously, or maybe just in the small and large intestine. I think that's still out, the verdict's still out.
And you've done some of that work now, where you're looking just at the small or large intestine versus the pH in the rumen, right?
Yeah, we're trying to separate the effects of rumen versus the essentially hindgut. That's not as easy as it sounds, but I think the large intestine and maybe the small intestine are playing as big a role in overall animal health as is the rumen.
Well, it would make some sense. As massive in the surface area in which the gut functions.
The surface area of the gut is massive, right? It's probably on a finishing steer, the surface area of the gut is probably the size of a couple football fields. It's just massive.
That's pretty hard to imagine that much absorptive capacity of a couple football fields.
Yeah.
Well, remember these. Watch for decreased intake, watch for diarrhea, and look for those mucin casts. Some of those things are telltale signs. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about some of the things that Dr. Baumgard's doing in his research and some of the things you can do to help treat or minimize some of the risks with leaky gut.
Dr. Nels here, folks. We're super excited about this book on hiring. Have you made a bad hire? Have you hired someone you wish you wouldn't have? Are you looking to hire? It's a great short read on helping you in the hiring process. You can find it on Amazon, Kindle, Audible, or find it at drnels.com. Check it out there. We'd love to see you there.
If you're looking for innovative livestock handling products that focus on efficiency and safety, Daniels Manufacturing Company is who you want to choose. With low-stress cattle handling being of the utmost importance, this family-owned business is focused on quality, not quantity. The company prides themselves on prioritizing the animal's well-being by staying on the cutting edge of design and only using the best materials and manufacturing operations. For more information on getting the product that will work best for you, contact Daniels Manufacturing Company today.
We see you. working hard from the early mornings to the late nights and every hour in between. We see you. We see the pursuit, the desire, the effort, the hope, the goal of being a champion. And we see that you need a partner to keep your animals healthy and happy. With our countless products and quick and reliable shipping, together, we can do just that. To the cowboys and cowgirls, to the dreamers, we see you.
ValleyVet.com is your one-stop shop for your every animal need, from prescription meds, vaccines, equipment, and more for the ranch to the show ring. Shop ValleyVet.com for fast shipping and great prices.
Valley Vet Supply.
Thanks for joining us today. We have Dr. Lance Baumgard, who is a professor and is the Jacobson Professor of Ruminant Nutrition here at Iowa State University in the Department of Animal Science, where the both of us teach and do research and outreach and about anything else they ask us to do. When we had left this leaky gut, what are some of the things that people can do to mitigate the effects or minimize some of the effects?
Well, from a heat stress perspective, I think the primary thing is to modify the environment. Now, of course, that comes with cost.
Yeah.
But trying to minimize the negative consequences of the environmental heat load, I think, is key. Now, once that's been invested in, right, other things, of course, are feed bunk management, prevent out-of-feed events, preventing just stress in general, I think is key. And then, of course, there's some dietary strategies. I mean, obviously, the diet is a huge component of this gut barrier function. And my group's been researching different dietary strategies to try to minimize the negative consequences of the leaky gut.
So when some of the things you've seen in pigs is if they're out of feed, they get stressed.
Within 6 hours. It's amazingly quick.
Yeah, and so I go back to some of the things with keeping feed pushed up for dairy cows. Making sure we stay on time with our feedings for these feedlot cattle. When I start to see feedlot cattle chasing the truck because they're hungry and they think it's their turn, I start to think about what's going on now in that gut and the stress. Because these animals, when they're out of feed, they don't have the opportunity to go somewhere else and find it.
Yep.
And we've trained them.
Yeah, exactly. We all know ruminants are creatures of habit, right? They lack a very consistent schedule.
Yeah. So when we get into some of the things with, the things that we can control through management, it's just making sure that we're doing that for sure.
Exactly. I think all the little things add up.
Yeah. So heat stress mitigation, any kind of stress, feed stress mitigation, weaning stress, different things of that nature. But talk a little bit about some of the things, because your research program is highly sought after, and if people are watching, and there are people out there with different products or management or things that they think that have an opportunity to help with this leaky gut syndrome, what are some of the things that you and your lab are doing?
Well, we've been looking at different dietary strategies, right? And that could be with minerals, it could be with post or prebiotics, antioxidants. We've looked at a lot of different strategies, and all of them, some of them are effective. None of them are a magic bullet.
Right.
The magic bullet will be a combination of a variety of things, but ultimately, a couple of things that you and I have been talking about in the past are liver abscesses and AIP, acute interstitial pneumonia. I think these are consequences that are at least in large part caused by post-ruminal gut dysfunction.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And the more I'm around the research and some of the stuff that we're doing, I think that when we start to look at AIP, liver abscess, in beef cattle specifically, it could be huge.
Yeah, and these late day deads.
Yeah.
I think that can be thrown in there too, and this hemorrhagic bowel. I think they're all tied together.
Well, appreciate you taking time and being on the show today.
Hey, man. Thanks for having me.
Folks, Dr. Lance Baumgard, Jacobson Professor here in Ruminant Nutrition, Iowa State University. Thanks for watching DocTalk, and if you want to know more about what we do, you can find us on the web at www.doctalktv.com. Remember to always work with your local veterinarian and nutritionist. With Dr. Lance Baumgard, I'm Dr. Dan Thompson, and we'll see you down the road.
DocTalk is brought to you by Merck Animal Health. By integrating the comprehensive animal health product portfolio of Merck Animal Health with the innovative technologies of All-Flex Livestock Intelligence, we are shaping the future of animal health, resulting in more effective solutions and healthier animals.
At Merck Animal Health, we wake up each day seeking new innovations to keep your herd healthy. This is why we're proud to now include All-Flex Livestock Intelligence in our portfolio of solutions. With All-Flex, we can provide the tools to identify, monitor, and trace each animal within a herd. Its state-of-the-art offerings deliver real-time insights to help you optimize productivity. Merck Animal Health and All-Flex Livestock Intelligence for our animals, our industry, and our future.
Valley Vet Supply sees the hard work and effort of you and your animals to achieve your goal of being a champion. And we're here to help along the way. To the cowboys and cowgirls, to the dreamers, we see you.